Fortnite's Halloween update is right around the corner, and every year you can find secret Easter eggs, like in 2019 when we got the Pump It Up emote. You might not get this reference until it's compared to the iconic video of the Dancing Pumpkin Man from 2006. Ironically, he gave them permission to make this emote, but then threatened to sue Epic anyway when they added it. A couple years before that, we had the first ever Fortnitemares, which not only brought Skull Trooper to the game, but secretly gave us crossovers they weren't allowed to do. We got Beetlejuice, who has gone entirely under the radar for years as an unofficial Beetlejuice skin. Not to mention Kyle the 13th, one of the only references to Jason Voorhees in the shop. Hopefully these come to Battle Royale in the future, but they're probably waiting to do an official collab. Last year, everyone was so distracted by the Inquisitor that no one cared to stop at the graveyards. Yeah, across the map you can find these tombstones all over the place, and they were full of secrets, like one being available for sublet, contact Grisabelle, while others were definitely not a secret apocalypse bunker. Although there were some gravestones that told us who was buried there, like Meowscles, who was on his third life out of 9. Someone also forgot to thank the bus drivers, so did he murder them? I'm not risking it from now on. Now there's a detail that literally no one's talking about. In 2020, we got the Ghostbusters collab for Halloween, and everyone let out a sigh when they realized it was just default skins. Except, when you look closely, they have an insane detail included, which starts with the male versions. On their belt, you can see an old walkie-talkie from the 80s, and that makes sense. Ghostbusters is a pretty old film and they use dated tech. We'll take a look at the female outfits, and they're not using walkie-talkies at all. They have newer tech because the Ghostbusters remake is set during the modern day. That cast was made up of actors from SNL, and it's not the only time they've been referenced in Fortnite. In 2016, they made a sketch with Tom Hanks where he dressed in a pumpkin suit.
What's my name?
David S. Pumpkins!
Eventually, Skull Trooper was compared to the skeletons from the SNL skit, and it looks like Fortnite went along with it, because a year later, they dropped Jack Gordon, an obvious reference to David S. Pumpkins. On that note, we had some henchmen of our own throughout Chapter 2, and they were unforgettable, except you might not remember their secret Halloween outfit change. In 2020, Fortnite put a ton of effort into the event, and even decided to change the henchmen to celebrate, giving them pumpkin heads on the map. The Ghost Henchman got Jack Gordon's head, while the Shadow Guard got Hollowhead's pumpkin. Anyway, let's take it back to 2019, where we were all enjoying Fortnitemares and fighting the Storm King. For Save the World players though, they had been fighting him for years and got their own update instead. This included a brand new hotel to explore, and as they entered the building, they found, yeah, look familiar to anyone? Pay attention to the carpet, it is very close to the iconic design of the carpet from The Shining. The Overlook Hotel is known for this pattern, but more importantly, look further down the hallway and you'll see two gnomes staring right back at you. Of course, they're meant to be the creepy twins from the movie. Not every Easter egg is in game though. One of the greatest references is in an episode of South Park from 2018. All the kids had to choose Halloween costumes and showed up to class like this. You don't gotta pay close attention to realize every single one of them is wearing, you guessed it, a Fortnite skin. But it's what happened after the episode aired. South Park themselves posted a photo of all of the outfits and their concept art. Isn't this incredible? I never thought I'd see the day Kenny was dressed as Raven or Stan became Leviathan. And I also didn't realize that we've had a Michael Jackson emote in the game for years and never knew about it. Fortnite dropped the reanimated dance in 2018, and it's quickly become one of the most popular emotes out there. I always bring it back to the store. However, if you look beyond the flashy music, the dance itself is really familiar. That's because this is taken from Thriller by Michael Jackson. Putting them side by side, it's obvious where the inspiration lies. Now, it's not an exact copy, it makes sense, but there is always room for an icon series down the line. From music to movies, an official crossover was the arrival of Evil Dead last year. It took a ton of people by surprise, as we expected something like Freddy Krueger or Michael Myers instead. Ash Williams was a cool addition though, and he arrived on the island with his very own cabin from the Evil Dead franchise. This thing was jam-packed full of Easter eggs, from Ash's chainsaw in the shed to the cellar he locked his sister in. I love finding the Necronomicon, but the greatest secret of all, the iconic talking moose. Another official collab was a year prior, when Fortnite dropped The Mummy and Frankenstein's Monster. On the surface, this was just a simple Halloween crossover, but they actually went all out for this. These two characters have been around for a long time, and if you equip their edit styles, you'll see a unique effect that could only be found on these skins. It's a vintage film effect that's both a throwback and a secret that went totally under the radar. Honestly, I want more skins with vintage stuff like this. Now I gotta mention the most famous Halloween Easter egg in Fortnite history, and how they expanded it without anyone realizing. I feel like everyone remembers when balloons appeared above storm drains in 2019. It broke broke the internet with every player desperate to see Pennywise in the game, but of course, it never happened and we all kinda moved on. Well, that's until a year later when they updated the Easter eggs with a new edit style for Night Knight. These clown skins used to be super colorful, and then the Night Fright style dropped, making them look suspiciously similar to Pennywise. Another outfit that was way too similar is Big Mouth. On the surface, this guy is super original, but he had an alternate version that was poisonous. When people earned it, they would be given the skin with the Marvel series tag added. It was only for this style and left a ton of people confused, but there is an explanation for this. It's a reference to Carnum, a Marvel character who's a fusion of Venom and Carnage, which explains the huge tongue. Whether it's supposed to be a collab and fell through, we'll never know. But we do know about the secret vehicle at Camp Cod. Turns out technology wasn't the only detail in the Ghostbusters event. Over at this POI, you can find a car covered in a sheet, and of course, it's easily identifiable. This is Ecto-1, the iconic Ghostbusters vehicle, and while it's never drivable, the barn has the word dirt written on the side, just like the shed from the movie. It's about as obvious as the time players found this hockey mask shrine and saved the world. One look at this and you can immediately tell who it belongs to. So yeah, if Kyle the 13th wasn't enough, Epic are taking their Jason Voorhees appreciation to the next level with an entire shrine dedicated to him. It's not the only classic franchise that's received love from Fortnite. So yes, we had an official Stranger Things collab in 2019, but I guess the relationship with Netflix is gone. That's judging from the fact that these skins have never returned, and we had a canceled Extraction crossover. So that is why Epic's latest Stranger Things reference confused everyone. Last Fortnitemares, a grandfather clock appeared, which wasn't too crazy until they noticed the clock was upside down. Could have easily been a mistake, right? Well, that's until you entered the secret room behind it and found the entire place to be upside down. This was the same month that Stranger Things introduced Vecna, a villain that was definitely being referenced with his grandfather clock. I imagine it was probably a gesture from Epic to Netflix telling them, hey, we want to work with you again. But I don't think Netflix are interested, especially when they had the drama with Dead by Daylight. Now, Fortnitemares has been around for 6 years, so it's easy to forget some of the insane POIs it has brought us. In 2018, they updated Fatal Fields with an entirely new design. It was converted into a Halloween theme park. It featured a pumpkin maze, haunted house roller coaster, and food trucks for hungry visitors. I don't understand why we don't get more unique changes like this nowadays. Hopefully Fortnitemares 2023 gives us some fun locations like this. I also hope the new outfits have as much hidden background as Fable does. For Season 6, the entire Battle Pass is themed around cubes and Halloween, giving us Fable, an obvious knockoff of Red Riding Hood. And most of us know about this. She is clearly supposed to be from the fairy tale, except you have to look deeper to realize that Fortnite made it 10 times scarier. Fable isn't running from a big bad wolf, in this case Dyer, instead she's chasing him. Eventually she hunts him down and cuts his tail off, which you can see on her belt. Then look at her glider, and she turns it into an apple pie for her grandma. So many people own Fable and have no idea how terrifying she is. But there's some other Halloween outfits which are based on urban legends and no one realizes. Hollowhead might just look like a dude with a pumpkin head, but he is meant to represent the Headless Horseman. Same goes for the Baba Yaga, an old woman on the surface, but she's based on a Slavic folktale of a witch who cooks and eats people, even children. Kinda makes this skin a little more creepy. And of course, you can't ignore the Good Doctor, who is clearly inspired by Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The edit style's even named Hyde. A terrifying Easter egg that no one was expecting was in the early days of Chapter 1. Harvick wasn't expecting a simple teddy bear in the corner to stalk him.
What? I found an Easter egg.
What was it?
Wait, what?
And that feeling of being watched extends to the Fortnitemares lobby from 2018. If you look closely in the window, you can see a mystery character watching you, which could be a reference to Michael Myers. He's literally known for stalking people through the window, and it's become a horror trope all because of him. And I'll say this, make sure you don't bring Coral Buddies along if you watch a spooky movie. At the start of Midas's Revenge, you could pause for a few seconds and see this warning on the trailer. Zoom in on the small print, and it says the event may not be suitable for Coral Buddies. I guess they're not old enough yet to watch horror films. If you prefer to encounter your own horrifying experience, players in Camp Cod had a chance to be jump scared. Back in Chapter 2, you could just be minding your own business until suddenly a ghost flies out of a grave. Yeah, this was an insanely rare Easter egg, so hardly anyone got to see it. But nothing will beat how confused everyone was during Halloween 2018. Out of nowhere, every TV in the game started to shake, and if you waited long enough, it would turn on and show a dancing alien. Those were 24 Halloween Easter eggs in Fortnite. It's been Tommy, and keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.